Skills translation is always a big topic. The example I'll always revert back to is you take a young guy, let's say he's 23, 24, and he served 4 or 5 years in the Army, and he was an infantryman. So an infantryman does what? He's your frontline basic combat soldier. To win the war, you have to seize ground, defeat the enemy. That's what the infantry does. That infantryman knows how to deploy weapons, and he knows how first aid, and he knows how to set up an ambush, and he knows how to fire weapons and build fighting positions. And that's what he knows. And that's how he thinks of himself, is what I call the brain housing group. The individual will be pursuing whatever degree it is that they're pursuing and they want to go forward, but they'll think of themselves only from an infantry military occupational specialty perspective. I challenge that individual and I say, okay, let me ask you a question. Did you ever evaluate training? Did you ever counsel somebody? Did you ever do a risk assessment and implement risk mitigation control measures to make sure nobody got hurt doing something? Did you ever run a range, organize all the resources, do the rehearsals, get the external people involved, control it, operate it, evaluate it, project management? We have to help people understand the skill set they have behind the military skill that they had and they were trained in the job they did in the military. And so that is a challenge in skills translation, is getting the veteran to first understand what they did in the military and break that into regular English so people who they're talking to can understand the experience that they had. I tell people who are working with, especially with student veterans, when they're coaching them and having conversations with them, when they describe something they did and they use military acronyms or terminology or said what their position was, tell me, what does that mean? What does that person do? What were you actually doing day in and day out? And have the person start to elaborate. And every time the person uses a military acronym word, say, stop, what's that mean? We have to challenge veterans to learn how to speak in 8th grade English again and drop the military jargons and acronyms and language. And we also have to challenge to think about what exactly did they do in the military and translate that into tasks that we can understand in regular English, because that's part of their experience and their skill set that they bring to the table when they start to pursue a future career.